All right, Marco.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah. Well, um, show number seven, game number seven for some teams. So we're 7/60ths through the season, and I tried to do the math. I got 11%. That seems a little high to me. So if somebody is actually competent in math and wants to tell us just how deep into the season we are, send us an email. Our email box has been empty, man. Yesterday we did a push for emails, and we got a grand total of zero.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't even get the one I sent? Well, anyway, I think 11% is pretty close because 10% would be 6 games, so it's got to be somewhere close to 11.
That's excellent. 11% in. The Marlins are not. And I love today because I was looking at the full schedule, and the Oriole game against the Marlins was postponed, but not the Oriole game against the Yankees. That game happened. Although I think the Orioles forgot to show up.
Well, they had a rough first inning, but I don't want to just do an analysis of the whole game, but I've never seen it before. But Saravito, I hope I'm saying his name right, our catcher, the Orioles catcher, he in the first inning put 2 runners on with catcher interference. Both times he had his mitt hit by the bat. The first time, Ben McDonald, who's a spot announcer, man, he's good and he's interesting. Said, well, I don't know why Servito's so close. I don't know why Pedro's so close. And then 2 batters later.
Right now, if ever, you'd want to have a little more distance.
Yes, exactly. And then 2 batters later, same thing. So they got two. I mean, Wojo was trying to do the best he could with his average stuff, and so it was all done from there. I got a question though before we get off the Orioles. I know that.
So questions are lined up.
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
I want to be polite. I know, spring training PC, spring training post-COVID, Santander got in there late, or I think he likes to go with Santander.
Santander, yeah.
Santander, and you got to do it with the role, Santander. He got in to spring training PC a little late because he had the COVID, and he's on the short list for best COVID comeback player. But full mask everywhere, field batting in spring training PC. He goes through the protocol. He's healthy. He's got the antibodies, and he makes the opening roster. And he's out there day one. Day one, I see he's got no mask. So I have a theory that he is actually maskless now that they tested him for the antibodies because they want him to actually spread the antibodies.
So that's a question you're asking me to confirm.
I'm asking that as a question to you, and I guess there was a lot of comment in there as well.
But what an interesting point about spreading antibodies. So maybe
why not be optimistic?
And I'm no epidemiologist, no virologist, but I am a deep thinker. And
okay.
So I think
you are a doctor technically.
Yeah. And I think based on that, the rule of no spitting should be changed. Those who have tested positive for COVID and then allowed back through the protocols with 2 negatives should be allowed
and
to
antibodies.
Spit. They should be right. They should be allowed to spit. Those who but the spitting has to be on other players.
Okay. And so they're mostly going to be spitting on their own team because they want to spread it through the team. I like that idea. A little gross, but hey, sports gets down and dirty, huh? How many times do we see all that grab ass and stuff in dugouts? Back in the day with Jim Palmer and Rick Dempsey, we never knew exactly what was going on with the Demper and Cakes. Where do you get the name Cakes anyway? My favorite player of all time, probably Jim Palmer, and I'm making fun of Cakes. So, but I did notice when Santander batted today, he had the mask on all shoujad, all screwed up. He just had it barely like halfway over his mouth and not anywhere near his nose. And I'm like, why would he be doing that? he went maskless to spread the antibodies in the first couple games, and now he's got the mask on Shujad. And I guess I have a theory, right? Because it's not covering the nose. It's a shitty looking mask. It's not one of the cool masks like Madden has, or
Right.
And I want to know why wear any mask. And here's what I think. I think he's soaking that effer up with antibodies, and he's just gonna just when he's if he gets out into the dugout, and if not, he's gonna hand it over maybe even to the first baseman on the other team, and that guy's gonna put it immediately on his face to get those antibodies, because it's not doing any protecting if it's halfway on, half off the mask, and nowhere near the nose. Last thing I'll say about and this will probably lead us right into the COVID corner, a weird way to get into the show, but last thing I'll say is, I know umps have the cool stockings over their face, but there's no reason for an ump to be having to go, hey, and hey, because stuff's going to come through.
This is the year of the soft call. The soft call.
I want the button in the hand that goes to a monitor. Strikey hits this button, hey! He does nothing but miming. But if you want the noise, because that alerts the batter, he doesn't always have to look back. Because I was thinking like just the miming, but you want the noise so the batter doesn't always have to look back or say, hey, which one? Hey, would you mind telling me? But I think he just has a button, and it's all Wi-Fi. I mean, you know all about that stuff, and Bluetooth. And if he hits the button in his right hand, you hear ha coming from there, and then if he hits the button in his left hand, you hear boom. There's no reason for them to be yelling even with the sock over their face, because stuff's coming through there. Air's getting in. They're breathing. I mean, that thing's around their nose. They got a mask. It couldn't be any tighter, and they're not fainting. So there must be some porosity in there. Porosity is a word. And then if they're doing ha, and going a little nuts like that, stuff's getting out. That's the last I'll say about that. I don't know if that leads us in or out of the COVID corner.
Well, it does. It leads us into the COVID corner. But the point that you make is excellent. And that's one of those points that there was no way to have known before the season started. You had to watch these umpires making these calls before you went, wait a minute. Is that really necessary for the...
I mean, they're creatures of habits.
Two!
I love your up calls. I think I brought this segment up because I've always, when we play the little bit of the wiffle ball, because we can't play the hardball much because there's not a lot of room, when we used to live close to each other, you always would do the great ump calls. So I wanted people to be able to hear that. You have the good ump calls, but they're creatures of habits. If you notice, they wear pretty much the same sport coat and slacks every day to the game. And
so we got a report from Dr. Doug in the COVID corner.
Oh, nice. DD from the CC.
Yeah, coming in today with more of a point about the rule changes in the game and the way the game's being played. He just is having a tough time watching the designated hitter in the National League. He's not comfortable with that at all.
Can I interrupt you real quick? Because I'm familiar with Dr. Doug.
Yeah.
He's a big Boston Red Sox fan.
He is.
Like immediately when you said he was having trouble, I would think, oh, maybe he's a Dodger fan or whatever, a lifelong National League guy. But you and I both know as American League fans growing up our whole lives that we don't even think as kids, we weren't even looking at the National League scores. So like we were always, in our generation, we were always used to, the DH. Orioles had Baylor, Angels had Baylor. He was like a DH that we shared, even though we didn't even know each other back then. But like, I think an American League fan of our generation would have no problem at all with that.
No, Dr. Doug grew up as a LA Dodger fan.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, that explains everything. Can we cut everything I just said then? If you're a National League fan, then I understand.
Boston that's his adopted team, and
okay,
he's got some roots in Boston through.
All right. So he's a Dodger fan. Okay, well that makes sense.
So we got into it. We were just talking, all chopping it up, and with the COVID corner and Dr. Doug, it all comes back to COVID. And his point was, and this was the winning argument between the two of us, and he finally just laid it down. The DH is a germ. So,
That's hilarious. Is it? And let me. That's just funny on its own.
right?
But let me extrapolate because I have no idea. I didn't come to the meeting today. Busy, man. I was busy, you know.
Yeah.
Red Oak, outdoor offices, setting them up in the field. Busy. But did he say that the DH is a germ because he doesn't have to really worry about being in great shape because all he's doing is hitting? So he's probably going out and around, hanging around town, drinking beer all over the place.
I'll have to set up a three-way meeting, and you can ask him. I think he just wants to see the nine. Yeah, he's a purist, true.
Okay,
But
so he was just doing a pun.
yeah.
I thought maybe there was some scientific evidence.
But Dr. Doug he's out there. He's out in society. He's
The doctor. I mean, geez.
he's out and about, and he was making the point that with Major League Baseball being back, that it's on all the TVs everywhere. He's seeing it on all the TVs, and his point is that Major League Baseball is on more TVs than there are people in Orange County wearing masks.
I don't even want to laugh on that, but you guys in Orange County are desperados. What can I tell you?
There are some areas of desperado for sure, and that's what they're doing.
Around here, people wear masks.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag, and Doug's adopted town.
I sent you a little care package recently with some masks.
Yeah, I never in my life got a gift from a friend. I would never imagine that I would get a gift of PPE. I mean, this is how crazy the world is. I expected a bottle of scotch. Once in a while, I send you a bottle of scotch. I get a good deal on something or something that I know you can't find. You send me something, that I can't find or afford. But, because you got all the money. But getting a box of PPE was, it just shows you how where the lunacy of the world. I loved it, by the way, and I use it. And I'm dyeing it orange because you sent me a blue one for some reason. I only wear orange in the mask.
Well, I brought the blue because
Baltimore Oriole orange. Come on, I'm just being silly. No, that was great. But that's where we are. Instead of getting a bottle of scotch, I got a bottle of PPE, and I couldn't be happier.
How about these games today? Your phenom looked good.
He did look good. That was interesting. And then I was wondering maybe they could keep him in there, but they did the right thing. And then the bullpen held solid. And then it all just, when the automatic runner situation came in, it all just fell to shit. But these kids are fun. These are the Queen City kids. They're young. I like to watch Vlad's son, Guerrero. What is it, Lourdes Guerrero, or is Lourdes somebody else? What's Guerrero's son's name?
Vlad.
It's Vlad Jr., right?
Yeah.
There's someone on the team named Lourdes that's the son of someone. I think it's Lourdes Gurriel. And isn't Lourdes Madonna's daughter's name?
Yeah, Lourdes.
Well, it's the same spelling.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Is it for a male or for a female?
How would I know, man? I didn't name any children that.
All right, man. And I'm the one who wants to make the show tighter. I'm adding nothing. But
the Tribe got another great start from their number 6 starter. They have 6 starters. They wind up losing 4-0. But that's really interesting development. Detroit, man, they got another win against Kansas City. Boston's bats came to life a little late in the game today, but they came to life. Minnesota with another win.
What happened in that Boston game? Because they were going down, and it was tied the last time I looked.
Yeah, then they had a big inning and went up 4 or 5.
Oh, so Boston won. All right, so they're back in it.
They held on at the end to win.
That's exciting.
And Atlanta got their win against Tampa Bay. The Angels
What's Haney doing right now?
Again with Haney. And right now, that's they're up 3-1, and
Haney's only giving up 1. All right, great.
Through 4, and the Dodgers and Houston are tied at 2 into the bottom of the 12th.
some of that got a little heated with Kelly doing some throwing over some heads yesterday, huh?
Oh, he said he was throwing behind. He's just inaccurate. It's like, hey, you know I suck as a pitcher.
Right. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, he's inaccurate. You
But
never know Kelly to have pinpoint control.
He wasn't even on the Dodgers team that lost that year.
Yeah, he was not. He doesn't have pinpoint control. So you're sticking up for the Dodgers, but I got to be honest. If I'm a new guy on the team, I'm the one that's made to do the dirty work.
Yeah, I understand that. But
yes, but you can stick up for the Dodgers. I know Dr. Doug's a Dodger fan, and I like the Dodgers. But what is it you got against Kershaw?
Kershaw.
Our segment. What does Michael Driggs have against Clayton Kershaw? He hasn't revealed it yet, but we have time, and I think I'm optimistic. I think this show's going to go in the next week. I think we're going to have a weekend of games. What's the over/under on the percentage of the tournament? Like if you're a gambling guy. Of course you're a gambling guy. You're running a gambling webpage, a sports book. What's the over/under on the season finishing and percentage? I mean,
I don't know about that, but what I do know is I just looked at the scoreboard, and it's the bottom of the 12th in Houston, and there's a runner on second. My immediate thought was, guy got a double.
No, automatic runner. We got automatic runners. We got automatic fun. We got a tournament with 60 games. Run. Okay, let's go. Automatic runners, automatic fun. Jingle time.
Talking about fun, before we get back to these games, I want you to know my pot roast turned out beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the recipe.
And I followed your advice. I used the what was
skillet, the cast iron skillet.
Right, and I used that, and I browned the meat, and I threw it in the Dutch oven. It was in the Dutch oven, and I didn't know what to do with it at that point because it was already browned. And I'm looking at it going, now I'm just.
I don't even know what I thought. I figured if you're gonna take the time to put it in the Dutch oven, then you're gonna bathe it in more of the herbs and rubs and stuff. And then, because you're going to have it rubbed while it's raw, then you're going to sear in that rub. And then in the Dutch oven, you're going to bathe it in the rubs and such because you got all that room in there for it to, and the heat of it all opens up because you close it, and then you put the Dutch oven in the oven to let even more of the herbs and stuff.
There was a lot.
And then you throw it in, and then you throw it. Why are we throwing stuff? Go ahead. Then you place it in there.
Did it overnight, 12 and a half hours. And here's the thing though, is a 3.5 pound top round roast. And really with all that cooking, all the searing, all that heat and all the juices coming out. When it was done, I weighed it. It was 1.5 pounds. It lost 1.5 pounds, but it was so, it was so good. But I ate the whole thing. And let's now.
That's a lot to lose. So you how long did it stay in the Dutch oven?
12 and a half hours.
And then how long did it stay in the in
No, in the Dutch oven, I did it for about 20 minutes in the Dutch oven.
What happened in the Dutch oven? Because that goes unnoticed in the world. What really happens in the Dutch oven? What happened in that Dutch oven? Just like I said, it got heated, it got more and more of the herbs and stuff in there.
That's exactly what happened.
And then you overcooked it overnight in the crock pot.
Into this afternoon, yeah.
And that was cooked at what, less than 100 degrees or like around 100 degrees, really low heat, right?
Low, whatever temperature low is.
Okay. And then
it just tore apart, but it was only.
So it like a brisket or a barbecue, yeah?
Yeah. And it was unbelievable. But it was really about 14 hours worth of work for one meal. And you know what? Worth every second.
You know why it was worth it? Because where'd you get the meat?
I got it from Butcher Box.
Butcher Box. When you need some meat, and sometimes you need a butcher. It's the best meat. It's organic. It's hormone-free. It's got no antibiotics. I'm talking about the meat. I'm not talking about the butcher, Michael.
Exactly. Let me show you what I'm going to cook tonight.
Okay.
Can you see this? This This is
Well, hold it steady. Yeah, that looks like a nice. That looks like a loin of pork.
it's a rack of ribs. This is a
Pork
rack
ribs. Okay, so you baby back rib.
ribs.
Nice.
A 2.5 pound rack of ribs.
That's a lot of work, but you got to do that on the fire, dude. You got to marinate those like you did, like there's no tomorrow. And I think a Dutch oven's got to be involved in it, even though that doesn't make any sense. And those
Dude,
things got to
you're the
go on
one-
fire, man.
You're the one who taught me about all the dishes.
Not one dish again has been named. We talked about Dutch ovens, we talked about crock pots, and we talked about a grill. Not one dish has been named in the process of this meat preparation. Well, that's I love that segment because I love the food segment. Also, though, I want to just go back to the umps, and it also might relate to something that Dr. D would be interested in. And it's also the rule book. These umps are letting the catchers at will go around the horn. So empty bases, strikeouts, boom, they're throwing it, and they're letting the pitchers keep the ball. And that ball's not supposed to touch more than 2 or 3 people. And the reason I know is because today there was a fake throw to third and an important pitch for Scherzer, and Scherzer had I guess he had 10 strikeouts and moved up that short list to like 95 games with 10 strikeouts, just below the great one, Mr. Koufax. And I think Koufax has 97. So Scherzer, I mean, we're watching a guy on the level that is even better than a Verlander, I think. Hate to get serious. Well, what do we got? Do we got some plays, some bets? I don't know why I'm rushing you, man. I think you should take your time.
Well, before we get to all of that, I want to do an ahoy.
Oh, ahoy hoys, nice. Ahoy hoy.
A truly great ahoy hoy from my father.
Dr. Steve.
Yeah.
Berger.
Yeah, Dr. Stephen Berger has an ahoy hoy, Dr. B. So his point was that Patrick Sandoval, the pitcher who pitched for the Angels last night, after doing a relatively fine job, was optioned today. He was optioned. And so Dr. Berger writes in, where is he optioned to? There are no minors.
See, that's his man. He cracks me up, that genius of a man, that human being. That's hilarious.
I followed it up and I looked into it, found out where he's optioned to, and he was optioned to Long Beach. Whatever that means. They have some facility in
Oh, okay, that's where the other 30 guys are. So he gets optioned to the pool. So they got to get rid of one of those 30 guys in Long Beach.
Right. My father's response was, he's optioned to the farm team, but there's no farm team.
No, that's hilarious. He's optioned to, but yeah, that's what happens. They would go to the alternate site of the 30 guys. But that's a good question though, because could you be optioned to the? You can't be optioned to the taxi squad, could you? Because they got 3 guys on a taxi squad. If you option a guy, he has to go through regular 10 days. I think it's 10 days, right?
I don't know. All I know is I had a punchline that I didn't get to.
I wonder whose fault that was.
My punchline. He wasn't optioned to a farm team. He's just optioned to the farm.
Okay, so get to the punchline. No, I'm just kidding. I screwed you up. You can't try to do a punchline after I stepped all over you, man. Just for that, I'm going to tell a joke.
Yes. There's no farm team, just a farm.
Just a farm.
I spent time writing that.
I'm going to tell an old Borscht Belt joke just to get a laugh here. It's little kids hanging out in the park. It's one of those parks in New York where the old guys, the old Italian guys and Jewish guys, they're playing chess. And this kid is just eating candy.
Step on your joke. I don't want to step on it.
Okay, I won't let you step on it. And the kid's got it's old school kid. He's got the transistor radio. He's listening to the baseball game. He loves the Queen City Kids, but he can't stop eating the candy. He can't stop eating the candy. He's just shoving candy in his face. And the old man looks over to the little kid and says, "Hey, man, hey, young man, you better be careful with eating all that candy. Maybe you could burn it off now, but when you get older, it's going to give you problems with your teeth. It's going to give you problems with your weight. It's not. He says, no, it's okay, sir. My grandfather lived to 106. And the old man says, oh, your grandfather liked candy? He says, no, he knew how to mind his own effing business. You like it, but you refuse to laugh just because I didn't laugh at your joke.
So tomorrow's slate.
I'll never do that again.
Tomorrow's slate is not a full slate. The Orioles game against Miami is postponed. I
love that they keep putting that on there too. You're right about that, man. I don't need to look at the games. You're reporting them right now.
Yeah, but the games start early with a 1:00 Pacific start with Washington and Toronto. Toronto now 3-3. I don't.
That was a tough out for them, but we'll see what these kids are made of because they played well. They played well.
I think the magic is questionable now. Ryu, I mean, he's coming in with almost a 6 ERA after a shaky performance. And
I think Ryu's going to have a bounce back, and I'll tell you why. I think he's just not used to the Wild West of the way things are here with no masks and people doing whatever the hell they want, coming from the culture and the country of where they really flattened the curve of the COVID. But now he got that one past him. He's a tough kid, and he's a professional. Here's one of those old lady bets that I put no analysis into and just go with my gut. I'm taking Toronto tomorrow.
Well, we're going to have a free play on that game tomorrow, and the only way you can get that free play is by sending an email to Picks4Sticks, STICKS, Picks4Sticks@gmail.com, and join our mailing list. But you want to do that either tonight or tomorrow, because that pick's going to go out around 11 a.m., certainly by noon. And don't you want to see whether or not the free play is Marco's old lady play or the professional gambler's analysis on the game? So we'll have a free play on that game tomorrow, but also we're really looking at some interesting games in Detroit. Another, how long can San Diego keep winning, or is San Francisco gonna pick up another end of series win? Yeah,
that's a good analysis there. But a lot of people like San Diego, and a lot of people thought that San Francisco's in a deep, deep rebuilding, and all that is true. But everything's out the window because we're in a tournament, we're not in a season. But that's an interesting game. I'm going to actually email and get the information on that game. I want the analysis on that game because I'm very interested in that game. But people, our fans should also remember, please send in the email so you can get the picks. But you'll also, if requested, you'll get the recipe, and I will also give you that joke that I just said.
So, you got anything else tonight, Marco?
Yes, I got something that I guess is still considered an ahoy hoy.
Oh, good. We need a few.
And it's from our friend Dave Moore again. But now I feel like it's more of a chastising of me, because it seems as though he wants to talk about that I'm not saying enough nicknames of cities. Like, how can I forget New Orleans? That is the Jazz City. So from Dave Moore from Greensboro, North Carolina, says, look, you're missing the major ones. But it seems that he was most upset that I didn't name the nickname of his city of Greensboro, North Carolina. Can you name the nickname of – I know it. Do you know the nickname of Greensboro, North Carolina?
The ship dock city?
That's close. That's actually very close in theory. Greensboro, North Carolina is the Gate City.
The Gate City, ship dock.
So to Dave Moore, an ahoy hoy, but you're getting a little bit on the pestering side. But keep it coming, Dave Moore, from Greensboro, a.k.a. the Gate City. Okay, that's all I got on that.
I got a couple updates here for people who are going to watch live tonight. This is fascinating. The Dodgers and the Astros have gone to the 13th inning. So this is 10, 11, 12. That's 3 innings in a row where nobody scored from second base.
Yeah. So these are all guys that are not going to be shortlisted for the Dazzy Vance.
Right. And when I glanced over again and saw the runner on second to start the 13th, I thought, hey, double.
Right. Of course.
But
Do you ever look over there and think you're going to see Dazzy Vance?
right. Dazzy.
Pitchers ain't running no more.
And he got through the 5th. But he's given up 5 hits through 5, but only 1 run. The Angels are up 4-1. So
Does he look sore? Does he look like he's about to get injured? Because that's all I'm worried about with Cotton Candy. I think his stuff is absolutely incredible.
so
I think
it's
if it wasn't for his injury proneness, if he wasn't soft as cotton candy, and I love the guy and I love the team, but if he wasn't, he would be a number 1, a true number 1, I believe.
maybe he could have been projected as a number 1 4 or 5 years ago.
I'm saying, yeah, we're talking that whole time, man. If he never had to deal with the injuries and
Right.
you know, then I think he could have been a number 1. So maybe it's all going to kick in.
Just like it did for Dazzy Vance.
Yeah. Or hopefully for Bundy.
And for Bundy. Well, the Angels, if they can hold on here, will save their season. It's a big game for them.
It is a big game. I'm going to go watch it. So I guess this is it for our show today, Picks for Sticks.
Yeah.
People got to send in for the pick. You got to pick for the Queen City Kids. And
Let's make a push for people to subscribe at the email at the YouTube channel. You're watching this, easy enough to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Give us a like, and we got more surprises coming. Surprises coming quickly, and we're gonna have some action tomorrow.
So we've gone through 11% of the season, and we'll have more tomorrow. I'll say good night.
All right. Good night, Marco. Good night, everybody.
Michael.